Provided housing. That's the feature story coming off the press as these young Oregon look over the Extension Center. Temporary expansion state system of higher education is the nation's pioneer and outstanding example of moving college facilities to housing facilities, thereby overcrowded conditions in the state colleges. Of war housing goes back to 4 days after Pearl Harbor, when the City Council of Portland passed a resolution creating a housing authority. Shortly afterward, ground was broken, and the first of 25 housing projects was underway. Deckham Court, Columbia Villa, Vanport, and others. Thousands of war workers answered the call of Oregon's shipyards and found war emergency housing ready for them. Vanport soon housed nearly 40,000, became known as the largest family housing project in the nation, and one of the largest cities in the state of Oregon. Cessation of hostilities did not mean that Oregon's war emergency housing was no longer needed. Many thousands of the war workers decided to remain in the Pacific Northwest. Then came demobilization. ex-GIs who had gone to war as boys returned home as men. Many were married. Oregon, like other states, faced a crisis with its institutions of higher learning not able to accommodate all of the thousands who decided to take advantage of the GI Bill of Rights and continue their schooling after war service. Oregon tried. For example, colleges arranged housing for students in wartime housing projects. Surplus Quonset huts were purchased and hastily erected and student housing. But it was not enough. There had to be, and married students were a particular problem. Then one man had an inspiration, Dr. Stephen A. Epler, at the time employed as veteran for the General Extension Division of the State System of Higher Education. He was an educator living at Vanport, a veteran acutely aware of the many ex-GIs applying for entrance to the state's colleges. General Extension and the State Board of Higher Education, the Housing Authority, and the Veterans Administration supported the move. Thus, late in the spring of 1946, Vanport became a college town. Shopping centers, nurseries, apartments, and other buildings of the housing project were found to be readily converted to college use. While Housing Authority workmen were preparing the buildings for college occupancy, the State System of Higher Education began the task of recruiting a faculty. Teachers came from all over the United States, a faculty well qualified and eager for the challenge of teaching in the first college of its kind. From registration of 221 in the summer of 1946, nearly 1,500 enrolled that fall in this unique extension college for freshmen and sophomores. A survey showed 90% of the students were veterans. Nearly half of the students were married, and many of those married had children. A majority of the married students and a considerable number of the single students had moved into Vanport apartments. They were actually utilizing the housing as well as the college. The veterans were home. They had found a place to live, a place to study, and for many, Portland offered a nearby place for part-time employment. Engineering was the favorite course during the first year, and of course, mathematics was a vital subject to all students of engineering or science. Physics and chemistry classes were well filled. The college also offered such liberal arts courses as business administration, pre-law, journalism. A number of pre-medical, pre-forestry, and architecture students enrolled. Secretarial, science, pre-nursing, agriculture, home economics, music, education. All of the major fields are offered by Vanport College. Recognizing the student body, preponderantly veterans, as adults, officials of the college have been strong supporters of student government over student affairs. An elected student body handles student body finances, policies, and social activities. Vanport supports a football team, perhaps the only Extension Division football team in the nation. Other sports in which the college has set its mark are basketball, track, baseball, and boxing. The physical education classes offer all types of sports and gymnastic equipment. Social center of the college is the building which houses the gymnasium, also used for dances. Here there is a comfortable lounge where Housing Authority furnishings provide between-class comfort for Vanport College students. Vanport College's Dean of Women serves as social director. Housing Authority wasn't the only governmental agency to lend a helping hand to Vanport College. Hundreds of items, desks, chairs, typewriters, adding machines, even a bus were provided to the college at little or no cost through War Assets Administration and Federal Works Agency. A campus social center and eating headquarters is student-operated, an excellent example of small business. In addition to this privately operated lunchroom, there is a student cooperative that stocks books, classroom supplies, and canned goods, featuring canned milk for the many babies of the Vanport campus. Of course, the Housing Authority leases out business space to merchants so that all residents of Vanport have excellent shopping facilities right at hand. Groceries, drugs, a new suit, a magazine, or chocolate soda, all are to be conveniently found at Vanport. Public service facilities at Vanport go far beyond those of commercial nature. For example, there is the hospital, modern, well-equipped, and excellently staffed. There is an efficient police force and well-equipped fire stations. In addition to students of Vanport College and their families, there are still 20,000 other persons making Vanport their home. That is good reason for good schools. And the public schools of Vanport, under Superintendent James Hamilton, have set a record that educators all over the nation have come to recognize. One of the college students is serving as chairman of the school board. There are nursery schools for younger children whose mothers are employed. Like a majority of Pacific Coast cities, Portland was bursting at the seams during wartime. Workers and their families came to Portland and stayed on, even after their war jobs are over. Ex-servicemen who had trained in camps of the Pacific Northwest sought homes in Portland after the war. Over-rapid growth of the city, plus post-war inflation, made house or apartment searching a real problem for returned veterans. There were new homes for sale, but at prices far above the amount Veterans Administration would approve for a GI loan. And so we come to a typical example, a young couple in search of the ideal combination, housing and education. Vanport College is the answer. A 2-year start on a college career, a branch of the state system that is approved. All credits and records readily accepted for later transfer to any of the state colleges. Not a college with tradition and ivy-covered halls, but already a college with such a spirit of endeavor and pioneering that its athletic teams are known on the field as the Vikings. Moving in is easy. The new home is a compact, modern, and comfortable apartment. Not palatial, but certainly better than the proverbial port in the storm. Naturally, the first thing is the woman's touch. The drapes, paper on the shelves, rearranging the furniture, wondering about a new rug. It's simple in the house. Just put up those books. Have them handy for evenings of study. Then comes the visit to the college for registration. Veterans themselves, and recognizing the veterans' anxiety to get away from the stiff formalities of military life, college officials greet the newcomer with a friendly and sincere welcome. This ain't the Army. You're home, Mac. Credits from previous school. Classes to discuss. It's college. When home is right on the campus, it's an easy transition from classroom to playground. Family is just as important to our student as it is to any working man. And so life at Vanport goes on. There's fun, there's study, there's work. That family to wash and cook for, those classroom lectures to attend. But school days all have their ending, and so to home. Time to meet the youngster. Children enthused, happy with their liberty without being conscious of their happiness. The kind that makes a father proud. Vanport is not an isolated situation. Throughout the nation, nearly 2.5 million people are making their homes in war emergency housing units. Its facilities are utilized as an educational center for veterans all over the city of Portland, as well as those living on the project. To many, Vanport will serve as both home and alma mater. To the 2,000 students who attended its first year of classes, Vanport College and Government War Housing are secure for citizenship and leadership.